Well, good morning, and I'm very excited to be here with Michael Shoulders. I met him at Right to Learn. Hello, good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Dr.
Okay,
Clinton.
and I'm going to give you just a little bit of a lead in here. Uh, this young man visits over 100 schools a year, spreads a message that reading is magic. Boy, I like that message. We are going to have a little chat about his journey that he has made from grade book teacher to picture book author. So we're going to be listening to that story. And from time to time, I may interject because I got to actually meet and talk with Mike at the Right to Learn conference, where he was had a table right next to mine. How lucky for me! But anyway, I'm doing way too much talking. It's time to turn it over to Mike. And Mike, let's tell the my teachers out there a little bit about your journey from being a teacher to a picture book author.
Well, I had 30 years service to a school system in Tennessee. I started off as a fourth grade teacher, taught fourth grade for about 13 years. Then I moved into administration, including being an elementary supervisor and a middle school supervisor. Then for the last 10 years of my service, I was a federal programs director. And one thing that my principals had a tie in and a belief in was author visits to schools. So I had the great opportunity to give monies to the schools if they had it in their plan. They had to write a Title I plan, including parents on the committees. And I brought in 30 different authors over that last 10 years
Wow.
to visit our schools. They really thought that when students saw authors, they saw something they could be. Of course, they did writing activities in the classroom, but to see an author or an illustrator stand before you, because we have a lot of boys and girls that love books and love to draw, but they don't consider themselves good readers. And so they certainly could be an illustrator and make these things called books. So yes, I had a grade book for many, 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 many years. And then I went to a 2-week class on writing. Now this is a little bit weird to believe. Now I read every day to my students out loud. I read out loud Judy Blume books because this was back in the day now. All right.
Hmm.
Bloom. Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I read every day, all the way. We started on the first day of school. I read a book aloud. We also, I would tell a month out what book when we were finishing one book, a month out, hey, I'm going to be reading this book. And the kids could order them through the Scholastic book uh, uh, sheet of paper. Dr. Sam, what do you call that? It wasn't a book fair. It was a piece of paper where you order book clubs.
Book clubs, right? Yeah, we had those, and the district I worked for was also Title I, and our supervisor, wonderful thing, the warehouse for that is very near St. Louis, and
Oh,
from time to time they dump things in large quantities. So it, they had books that they didn't want anymore, and they were selling them by the case at about between 25 cents and $1 a book. And
wow.
my principal gave me funds. So many's the time I had took my little van and got a van full of brand new books from them. So yeah, I'm very familiar with Scholastic.
Are you familiar with the authors from St. Louis, Patricia McKissick and Fred McKissick?
Absolutely. I've had the pleasure of seeing them, and I actually have an autographed book. Patricia, as you know, has passed, but
Yeah.
she was and is a major figure around
I
here.
brought I brought her to Clarksville, Tennessee.
All right.
That's two of the authors that I brought. So when you said St. Louis, I thought, Patricia McKissick. So anyway, so I believed in reading aloud to kids, and then I would read, and the kids could follow along. Back in the day, also Marie Carbo was influential because she had to work books on tape, and you would try to speak a little bit slower than what you might find in a normal book on tape, and the kids could follow along and learn that way. So anyway, I was at a writing conference for 2 weeks. Dr. Sam, we heard authors every day speak to us about their books. What a joy to see these people that wrote these books. Never thought I'd be an author. Never, not even a dream. One author got on stage and said these words to 400 of us in this theater: don't try to be an author. It's too difficult. Wait a minute here. She's throwing down the gauntlet. All right, I thought, well, I'm going to try to do that. And she's right. It is very difficult, but it's not impossible. It took me exactly 4 years and 10 months to sell my first manuscript, an alphabet book about Tennessee. This is my first book, and Dr. Sam, it's in its 19th edition. It has been reprinted 18 additional times. So I'm thankful that I went from grade book to picture book, and that came out 5 years before my retirement. So after I retired, I started visiting schools around the country and Germany too. I was lucky that one of my Title I teachers, I live by Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and one of my Title I teachers got a job over in Europe. She invited me to fly over to speak at her school since she knew me and she knew I had some books out by then. And then it just grew. So I would say from Wyoming to Germany, I speak, at places like that. And so now I have 23 books to my credit.
Well, that is outstanding.
I'm blessed.
Well, I'm going to
blessed.
put a quick plug in. You autographed a copy of this one for me, the Legend of the Christmas Pickle. I'm going to let you tell tales about this, but it really hit home for me because we at my house we have exactly this kind of Christmas tree with ornaments from all you can tell the history of the family from it. And the Christmas pickle itself, I had no idea. My wife's German, and this is a German legend. I had no idea. But I just, by the way, went out and bought a Christmas pickle ornament. Now, I've done all the talking about that. Could you say a few words about the legend of the Christmas?
Ja, danke schön. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Ich gehe zur Schule für 3 Jahre. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to speak English. Yeah,
All right.
I speak a little bit of German, and I went to school for 3 years in Germany, but I lived there for 6 because 3 of it was before school, and we came back then went back. Dr. Sam, I actually learned that it's not a German tradition.
Oh.
People think it is. Some Germans may follow that, but generally it is not thought of as being a German. Now, you will find it on the web, but you'll also find discredited versions. So anyway, to tell those people that don't know about it, because most of your audience will not know what we're talking about. So let me tell you why I wrote the book. We have a Christmas pickle in my house. And what you do is you take the Christmas pickle and you leave it for Santa Claus. And he's not going to take it home, but he's going to hide it on the Christmas tree. Now, on Christmas morning, whoever finds the pickle, he leaves an extra gift called the pickle prize. And that's the nature of the game. Now, it has a couple purposes. The reason you do that is, number one, children are not counting presents under the tree. They're looking at the ornaments one more time, looking for the pickle. And of course, they get the gift that comes with it. Now, I have a poodle. So if you see the book, a lot of the ornaments on the tree relate to my family. My son was on the TV show Survivor, and so there's a treasure chest on it. And I'm also a teacher, so on our tree, we have, just like you, Dr. Sam, we have ornaments that mean something to the family. When we went to the Grand Canyon, we brought an ornament back. So we always look at ornaments that remind, and when we put them on the tree, we reminisce about, hey, remember getting this Trevi fountain? Oh, it was so much fun. Now, A lot of your people, I know I should be talking about my books, but I want to share some of the things that I talk with when I visit a school. I do not pick my illustrators. I'm actually not allowed to speak to them. This book was drawn by a lady who lives in Siberia. And so my editor, I had a chat with her and I said, now make sure that she knows that our Santa Claus that visits our children in the States may look different than that one there. And so she researched our Santas, and it's a beautiful book. I'll just show you oh, here's Santa taking out the pickle, getting ready to hide it on the tree. So it's a beautiful, beautiful book. So from my first book to my last, and then the 21 in between. Now, I will tell your listeners, because I'm sure that they'll want to know this, there is a series of alphabet books from Sleeping Bear Press. It's a series of state alphabet books. It goes through the alphabet with things about your state. For instance, every book, if you have like the state capital, for instance, Dr. Sam, Nashville's our state capital. So that's in there. Your state wild animal, if you have presidents, and they're written on two levels. One is a poem, a short poem that you can read to first, even kindergarten or first grade, about our three presidents of Tennessee. But then there's expository texts down the side. And all 50 states have a book like that. And so
We'll
they're
definitely make sure there's a link to that book and to the series of 50 books.
Well, now it takes so long to do the research. People think I wrote all 50 state books. I did not. I only wrote 3, and then they were all done by other people. But I also did Mississippi. But now the reason I want to show you this is I'm going to try to hold up 2 pages, okay, at one time, 2 books, because although I wrote both books, I did not. My editor did not pick the same illustrator for both books. So you can see that they're very similar in style. You know, poem and a sidebar. You know, a poem on the picture and a sidebar. And there are some ancillary books that we also have. For instance, in about 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to rap sing 4 or 5 pages of the D is for dump truck book. The family is building something special in the backyard, so it's about construction. So here's a front end loader, for instance. Now, this does not have any sidebars. This is really strictly for pre-K, K1, maybe 2. But a book that I'm very, very happy with, and it's getting a reprint right now. Oh, did I bring it in here? I did not. Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Oh no, let me just tell you what it is.
Okay.
T is for Titanic. People love the Titanic and learning about the Titanic. So it's an alphabet book about the Titanic. So that's a little bit about my books. There's 23 of them. People can find them at my webpage.
Okay, well, a couple of things. First of all, could you give us a little sample of what you might say? I know that you go to schools all the time.
Yes.
Could you give us a little sample of how you try to convince folks that reading is magic? And both teachers and students, what do you say?
Well, probably you can tell by my humor already. When I'm with a group, I'm going to try to educate, but also entertain. So when I'm with a group like at a school, I'm going to say things during my program that no one will get except the adults and maybe only some of the adults, maybe not even all of them. And I did not coin this term, but it fits what I do perfectly. I do what is called edutainment. And
Love
I
it.
start, the very first thing I do is I do a magic trick. Now, I'm not going to do it now because it'll fall flat on a little screen here. You have to see it live. But I begin with a magic trick. And I tell students that hocus pocus bogus. That doesn't work. Abracadabra is not real. The magic words are reading is magic. And I call up a student and they help me make a scarf disappear right before their eyes and they fall out. They cannot believe. I've got them hooked. I now have them hooked for a 45-minute presentation for kindergarten or an hour presentation for the upper grades, because I do have a novel that I discuss. During my talk, besides the magic, how I begin, I also go through the entire writing process. Now, before I actually hit the writing process, one of the speakers I had, and everyone listening to this will know this name, Pam Munoz Ryan, Esperanza Rising, Echo. She's just phenomenal. So I had her come to my schools 3 times. My principals, my teachers loved her. And she was showing a slideshow. And I said, why did you show your your twin boys? Why did you show your house? She says, and I'm an educator. I should have known this. But she's educating me. She said, children need to know that authors are human beings. I thought, wow, that's right. So I begin by showing my dog to let them know I have a dog. I show my house and I show a picture of my family. And then I get into the writing process. The words rough draft come up on the screen. The word revision comes up on the screen. And so I show the children this along with my research. And so then I go through the entire writing process. And then at the end, I usually tell them, you know, most authors will read one of their books to the boys and girls, or let's vote. I can read this book to you, or I can rap sing this book to you. And of course, what do the kids want me to do, Dr. Sam? What do they want me to do?
Well, it's exactly what I want you to do, and that is rap sing that book, please.
I rap sing that book. So can I give your listeners a little flavor?
Absolutely.
Now, the good thing is I'm going to use just the music, all right? But I also have a link where I'm actually singing this with the music. So I'm going to do it live. So the family is building something really cool in the backyard. And it's D is for dump truck, a construction alphabet by me. I love saying that because you always say the author's name. It's illustrated by Kent Kulata, and boy, did he do a great job. It is so, so cool. So I'm going to start this up, and let's see if we can hear it. I hope we can. There's about a 10-second pause. I've already started it. So there's a 10-second pause, and hopefully we'll hear an alarm clock in just a minute. And I'm going to tilt it this. Can you hear the alarm clock?
Not yet. Oh, dear.
Alarm goes off, hip, hip, hooray. The wait is over. Today's the day. Round up equipment and the crew. There's construction work to do. Bulldozer is tough. His work is hard. Puffing and puffing across the yard. Leveling landing, clearing bushes. Moving dirt. He pushes. Cut the lumber for the floors, plywood sheets and 4x4s, sawdust on my shoes and clothes, in my hair and nose. Oh, the star of the show. Dump truck delivers the load of sand. We need to have a lot on hand. He backs up with the load pile deep. Reverse horn blares out. Beep, beep, beep. Our glasses are a construction must. Protect our eyes from flying dust. Safety first is always key. We need our eyes to see.
Oh, bravo.
You hear it?
Bravo. Okay. Well, the music didn't come out, but your voice, you didn't need it. You really didn't need it. So that was just terrific. Okay. Boy, lots and lots and lots of things here for my readers to consider. How to teach kids to be writers, and I can remember myself. I never thought of myself as a writer, and then I got into some things with writing workshop and the rest, and suddenly I'm doing a weekly blog. So that is just life-changing kinds of things.
Well, let me interject this. The
Sure.
wonderful thing about an alphabet book is that a child can relate to an alphabet book about their family. So I often recommend this to teachers. And sometimes I'll say to the boys and girls too, like Mother's Day is coming up. So Dr. Sam, I don't really know you. I've not been to your house or anything like that. So let's say talking to boys and girls, they can read an alphabet book, either about their state or about the dump truck or about the Titanic. When you get through, ask the boys and girls to think about their parents and start trying to organize some ideas for a book about them. What I recommend is getting a sheet of paper and putting the letter A on it. Half of the page, then the bottom half, put a B. On the back, put a C and a D. And just start thinking about things about their parents. Sir, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Well, on the B page, if I'm writing a book for you, I could put B is for blue. Grandpa Sam loves the color blue. So that could be the page, and they could draw a blue truck if you have one. Or they could draw you wearing a blue hat that says, I heart reading. What's your favorite food?
Oh, I gotta think. Okay, lemon meringue pie, which is the only kind of pie in the world. There is no anything else except lemon meringue. It's not really a pie. So lemon meringue pie.
Now, here's a little point I tried to make, and I don't say this to kindergartners, but I'll say it to fifth graders, okay? Remember those sheets that have the letters on them? That I said make an A and a B and start gathering information? You could put lemon meringue pie on 3 different pages in the book. The L page, the M page. M is for meringue. Grandpa Sam loves lemon meringue pie. Or it could be for P. Grandpa's favorite pie is lemon meringue pie. When I wrote this book, I put Elvis Presley on the P page for a while. Then I realized we had 3 presidents. Well, I didn't want 3 pages on the president, so I said P is for presidents. Well, if you go back to the E page, guess who you'll find?
Elvis.
Elvis. So that's why I tell them to try to organize their information. Don't start writing right away. Do some pre-writing. We talk about pre-writing, gathering information. So lemon meringue pie could actually go in 3 places in case you get a better. Do you have a pet? I'm just curious. Do you have a dog?
We did. We don't anymore. Her name. Well. Uh, oh dear.
What kind of a dog was it?
A mutt.
Oh, M is for mutt. They make the best pets. Uh-oh, I got to cross off lemon meringue off the M page. It can't go there because I got a bet. I've got Grandpa Sam's pet on there. He was a mutt, but we loved her so much.
Well, actually, her name was
name?
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy?
Tommy Boy. And so she was a she, but she was a tomboy for sure. Tommy Boy.
Well, I'll go to schools and I will see books that they have written about their school, an alphabet book about their school. So alphabet books, they can relate to the alphabet. They know the alphabet. They know their family or they know their school. And sometimes that's an easy jump off place to start a book that they can write themselves.
Okay, well, that is just golden information. Thank you so much. Okay, we're getting close to that time when we need to start wrapping up. So boy, we could go on for hours, but I think you've covered a great deal of ground. But I always try to have a point toward the end where I say, boy, this is your chance to get in what we've left out that you really think is super important. So is there anything out there that we've left off that you'd like to jump in with, or have we covered it?
Well, uh, there's one thing, if I can just get on the soapbox.
Absolutely.
Sir, I don't want to offend anybody out there for the world, but sometimes you have to just say what's on your mind. The number one thing that families can do for their children is to read aloud to them to get them excited about books. But it's also one of the strongest things teachers can do. But I go to so many districts now, teachers say, I don't have time to read aloud to my students. I have so many things I have to cover. And what I try to impress upon them is look for books that you can read aloud that will support the curriculum that you're trying to teach. So, you might find, I'm looking over on my shelf and I see the Quilt Alphabet book. I believe that is by the Ransoms, if not Lisa and James, at least one of them. But it's about the Underground Railroad. So if you're teaching that, find a wonderful picture book by people you admire and read aloud to them about the content that you're trying to teach. Children love being read to. They love being read aloud to. And I know that's kind of dicey area for some schools. And sir, please do not faint. Please do not faint. I went to a school district and I was talking about the importance of reading aloud, and a teacher told me that their director of schools said teachers were not allowed to read aloud to their
Oh,
kids.
it hurts. It hurts to hear that. I
Yeah,
know
and
that it's true.
I said, why? She said, his reasoning is the kids are off task and doing nothing. So anyway, that hurt.
Okay.
That hurt to hear that. So that's the one thing that maybe didn't need to be said, but I wanted to say since you asked me. Teachers, try
I,
to find time to read aloud to your kids.
I'm so happy you did. And I'll tell you one little trick I use to steal time. Because good teachers learn to steal time every place they can. Okay, so like it's time to go to lunch, and I've got to take them down to the lunchroom, and a class is well, I oftentimes did that. I didn't have classes of my own during this school year because I was Title I teacher, but during the summer I would do my own class, and someone cut in front of me, so that means I'm going to have an extra 5 or 10 minutes in line, and what I did, I always had my book along, and the kids knew it. And so reading while waiting on things, there's dead times where it fits in, and you're basically stealing time and using time that would otherwise be totally wasted. And it's very easy to pick if you've got a good book. It's very easy to pick it up.
I did exactly the same thing, and I'm going to tell you the book I used, Shel Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends.
Oh yes.
It's poetry. It's and you can do one for 10 seconds, or you could do 5 to fill a minute. There's too many kids in the tub. There's too many elbows to scrub. I just washed a behind that I'm sure wasn't mine. There's too many kids in the tub.
I love it. Okay.
And the kids love it too.
Okay. Well, this has been delightful. I really want to thank you. I will make sure that there are links to all the things you've talked about, and hoping you will send those to me.
Yeah.
So, and I will also point out on your website that there's information about how to have you come as a speaker if they want.
Yeah, please, I'd love to do that. Come visit you. One quick thing, all of my books are at Amazon except one. This one is only available through my website. So this is not available at Amazon. So
Okay.
thank you for inviting me. I appreciate this time and talking about education and books and learning and reading. It's because I love reading.
Okay,
and
well,
writing.
there's one last Bomberito tradition on a Bomberito interview, and that is we do with smiling faces a Zoom wave goodbye. So let's say goodbye to our audience. Goodbye, nice Zoom wave, and